In this lecture, we are going to discuss about another important pillar of object-oriented programming, which is known as inheritance. So, inheritance is a relationship between two or more classes wherein derived class inherits the property of base class. Now, what is a base class? It is a class whose properties are inherited by another class. It is also known as superclass or parent class. Derived class, on the other hand, is a class which inherit properties from the base class. It is also called as the subclass or the child class. As usual, let's try to understand this concept with an example. So over here I have the most basic example that we encounter in our day-to-day life. So we all have our parents, guys, and we love them so much, right? Now we are a result of our parents meeting each other, right? If our parents wouldn't have met in the first place, we would not have been in this life, right? So that's the reason we should always love our parents, guys. Now, when we are born as a child, we inherit the properties of both of our parents. So some of you say that in this specific nature, he resembles his father. Some others say that in the way of talking or in the way of, moving, he resembles his mother. Things like that, right? So we all inherit properties from both of our parents, and we as a whole have our individual properties as well, right? So some of the properties are inherited from our parents, and some of our characteristics we develop on our own, as a result of which we all 7 billion peoples on this planet are all individual and different from each other. In the same way, I would like to explain a vehicle example as well. Okay. So say for example, when you are designing a vehicle blueprint, okay, and by blueprint I mean class that we discussed in our previous lecture. So when you design a vehicle, you provide some attributes to it as well as some behaviors to it. Like the general behavior of a vehicle should be that it should be able to move. So say move is one method or behavior inside the vehicle class. Now, a vehicle can be of any types. Like it can be a ship, it can be an aeroplane, it can be a land vehicle. Over here, the ship, aeroplane, and land vehicle are called as the subclasses because they are a type of vehicle and they inherit some specific properties of vehicle, which in this case is the ability to move. So we know that a ship moves in water, an aeroplane moves in air, and land vehicles moves over land. So they all have a basic characteristic of the vehicle class, which is the ability to move. And over here, vehicle is the parent class, and ship, aeroplane, and land vehicles are the subclasses or child class. Just like in the previous slide, we saw that our parents are kind of our base class from which we inherit some of the properties as well as define some of our own. In a similar way, in this example, all ship, aeroplane, land vehicles are type of vehicles and they inherit some properties from the vehicle class or which is basically the ability to move, but they define some characteristics of their own, as a result of which a ship is different from aeroplane and an aeroplane is different from a land vehicle. Now, a land vehicle can be again subclassed into two types or many actually. Over here I've just given two examples, which is a car and a truck. So both of them are different from each other, but both of them are of type land vehicle. and they at least inherit some of the properties which a land vehicle should have. Like a land vehicle should have tires to move over the land, right? A land vehicle should have some kind of a differential or mechanism or something which is specific to cars that you see in your day-to-day life, which is not there with an aeroplane or a ship. So car and trucks can be called as a subclass of land vehicles. So over here, land vehicles become the parent class and car and trucks are the child classes. So this entire concept wherein a child class inherits some properties from its base or parent class, just like what ship, aeroplane, land vehicles inherited from vehicle and car and trucks inherited from land vehicles, this concept is known as inheritance. To see it with an actual class diagram, we can see that over here there are two classes A and B, okay, and class C is actually inheriting from class A and B. That's what is inheritance, guys.